which gave suggestions, like an hour is in school, or almost in school.
Somebody is that.
I'd rather have out of school.
So I think it is, I don't know. So half of it is, an hour of it is the in-service, an hour of it is the collaboration, or 1 week it's all in-service and the next week it's all collaboration. But then you always have that consistent once a month about district meetings, so you can meet across everyone. And the way that they're doing it, so we haven't talked nuts and bolts too much, is adding 10 minutes to the student day. It won't increase the teacher time during the day. It reduces some of their time in the morning, but 10 minutes is being added in the morning. And then the 4 in-school or in-service days are being taken away and used during those Fridays. So that's how we're getting 4 additional contact days. So.
Did that answer your question?
It did, and I think there's probably others for the community, not so much for the teachers.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great discussion, great discussion. Anything to add before we wrap it up? All right, well, thank you so much for your volunteer time before tonight, and especially for tonight for bringing your information to us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Good luck campaigning.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, we are on to board open discussion. There have been several meetings that have been held in the community since we met last. Were you able to make that? See,
Jean and I were both there.
oh, the education commissioner that was at Horseville. Any comments you want to bring back, or? Was it well attended by
I think so.
the district? Good. I attended the Healthy Community Design Summit Leadership Breakfast on February 4th. Mark Fenton was here. This was supported by Little Finney County. And it was a very interesting discussion, about a 2-hour breakfast, and we talked about how to make our community more activity friendly, and how to increase walking opportunities, and increasing the safety of crosswalks, increasing the safety of lanes, and get turning lanes, and do road diets is what they call it, to take say a 4-lane road and making it a 3-lane road with a turning lane in the middle to decrease the amount of traffic you have to cross to turn. Things that you know all about, Tim, that I was educated on, which I wasn't aware of. So, but it was very interesting, and I've asked for a formal report that Mr. Fenton's going to give to Shay Sinclair at Western Kansas Community Foundation. As soon as we get that, I'll share the complete report with the district. There were a lot of specific district comments that were made about safety. A couple different buildings were specifically mentioned on the concern of dropping kids off and walking across a crowded street. Jenny Wilson was the big one, right there north of the YMCA, about just, we're really lucky we haven't had an accident yet there, and that's not the only school. I drove by Buffalo Jones today and thought, oh, this is scary. So I know that other districts or other buildings have that concern, but that was a big issue. The other big issue that was brought up was the fact that we bus more students than we're mandated to. We bus students that live closer to their neighborhood school than we need to. And if we didn't bus those kids, we would increase physical activity with those students. So you've got to weigh that with, we're talking about cost and budgeting and things like that. That might be something where we could save a little bit of money and also increase the promotion of fitness and health and well-being for our students in our district. So those are just a couple of items. I don't want to list too many because I don't want to leave anything out that's important, but those are the ones that were mentioned quite regularly at the breakfast. So that's all I had. Any other open boards? Oh, we wanted to celebrate Steve Norby was elected, or we officially approve Steve Norby as the principal at Garden City High School tonight in the agenda, so wanted to say congratulations to him. Anything else? Yeah, Tom?
I had the opportunity to do the board agenda meeting on the 10th, and I also scheduled on the 24th, so if anybody would like to take that, I'd be happy to let somebody else have a turn. If not, I'll cover it.
Great, thanks.
I had a couple of things. First, the legislative coffee that the chamber hosts, and it's usually fairly well attended by our state legislators, is this Saturday at 10 o'clock at St. Catherine Hospital in classroom B, I think, one of them. So it's a free breakfast, and it's usually a pretty good breakfast. But most importantly, I think having us there will be very beneficial considering some of the past comments that have been made about school districts and their requests for money and funding. So I think having us, as many of us there to help some of the ignorance, I would say, about how school budgets work and why we're doing what we're doing, would be really helpful. And Jean spoke very eloquently in response to one person. And then also, House Bill 2292 is going to be set for hearing on next Monday, and that is going to be seeking to repeal Common Core. So I decided I will not go up and try to provide oral testimony this time. 90 seconds was just a little too short for me. So, but I did talk to Dr. Atha about trying to find my written testimony that I provided last time and maybe add a little bit to it this time. So, sorry I can't go up. Maybe someone else can go.
A 10-hour drive for a 90-second testimony.
And they just forgot me.
And you decided to go the night before, didn't you?
No, I volunteered
Oh, you did?
before, but I didn't know how it was gonna work, because I was supposed to have a day-long trial the day before, but fortunately it settled, so I was able to show up here around 11 o'clock to work on my testimony, and I was sitting there with my testimony that I was gonna say, and as soon as somebody says, I'm gonna cross that out, because I've only got 90 seconds, somebody said this, cross that out. So,
Wow, we appreciate you going. Anything else for open discussion? Yeah.
I did want to echo what Laura mentioned on the legislative coffee. I think that's really a helpful forum for all of us, not just school board members or people interested in politics, but it's really helpful to know what other people are viewing the school district and our financial situation in. So I would encourage everyone to go and to speak if you feel, ask a question of your legislator, because they're elected by us and they represent us, and I think when they get in a group up there, it's very easy for them to kind of be swayed and to forget the people that elected them and the community from which they came. So I would encourage everyone to go and to participate in that. They're very interesting. The other thing I did want to say is I really appreciate you going to the health forum that you went to. And I agree, I think that, we do have a lot of students who maybe would benefit from more activity, as we all would. I do think that we've limited our school bus, even though we bus within our certain district, within our mileage. It's really because we've had busy streets and safety concerns. So I think we're always balancing that with what we're required to do and what the safety of our children requires us to do as well. So I just wanted to mention that.
Just an announcement, I'm co-chairing a committee with John Allison, Superintendent of Wichita, and it's a budget finance committee for KSSA, and we're meeting Friday in Topeka, and we will have Dale Dennis there. We'll also have the Schools for Fair Funding group there. Hopefully, we're going to be getting more information in reference to what the state legislators are talking about in reference to block grants and also what they're talking about in changing the funding formula and what that will mean to the state. So that's just the first meeting, and we've got probably 15 to 20 superintendents on that committee throughout the state, and we'll be formulating a plan to go to the legislators and give testimony pertaining to some of the changes that are coming about.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. Anything else from the board? Okay, I want to thank Jennifer Stanley again for coming this evening to the board meeting. She's a candidate for the Board of Education election coming up. And Dana, is that you? And you're also a candidate, and thank you for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any of us. All right, with that being said, the next Board of Education meeting will be held in this room on Monday, March 2nd at 6 o'clock p.m. We do have reason to go into executive session this evening.
Madam President, I move that we move into executive session for matters of non-elected personnel and their contractual obligations, because if this matter were discussed in open session, it might invade the privacy of those discussed. I would suggest reconvening at 8:15 for a period of 60 minutes.
And please bring your iPads with you.
60 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, I can